I just want to take a minute to thank you because, as you know, we're not getting a lot of coverage, but that don't matter. The people want it. They can't stop it when the people want it.
So Ice Cube has recently revealed that Netflix turned down Sound of Freedom. The movie about child trafficking. Why would they turn down such a blockbuster? Is there someone they're trying to protect? Say, like an elite circle?
The ratings show it. The attendance, the attention. They can't stop it when the people want it.
This is not the first time Ice Cube has faced opposition for his views. He has previously said that he has been prevented in the past from appearing in certain forums because of his views. He claimed that The View and Oprah wouldn't have him on during the promotional period for his massive hit film Barbershop, and while producing a show called Black, White. He said each show's entire cast was invited on the Oprah show on 2 separate occasions, but he was not invited. Now, why is that the case? Well, it may be because he's been associated with a very certain film aimed at exposing the elite. Back on July 4th, 2023, a film called Sound of Freedom hit the big screens, and guess what? It made a splash, collecting a whopping $40 million within just a week of its release. But hold on to your seats, because this movie's no ordinary popcorn flick. It's all about shining a light on the dark world of child sex trafficking.
So of that it's all rebel territory.
Remember those wild ideas we've heard about global elites, including some big shots from the U.S. Democratic Party, being involved in this sinister cabal that preys on innocent kids? Well, Sound of Freedom doesn't fully delve into those theories, but it does follow the life of Tim Ballard, a former Department of Homeland Security agent who staged daring operations to catch those involved in child sex trafficking.
Internet, we didn't even get covered by some of the major outlets. And so it was word of mouth. It was people.
And it seems like Ice Cube has been on this train for a while, because back in 2020, he posted an image related to Canon, a movement dedicated to revealing child trafficking within the entertainment industry. The image depicted a highway sign with the message, "Media is complicit #treason," along with the letter Q. One prominent belief within the Canon movement revolves around the conspiracy theory that numerous celebrities and members of the Democratic Party are implicated in child sex trafficking. And speaking of intrigue, the film's stars, Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard, have been known to dance around some of those eyebrow-raising Canon ideas in the past, even though the film itself doesn't exactly jump on that train. But wait, there's more. Rumor has it that the big guns in the movie industry, like Netflix and Amazon, originally turned their noses up at the film. Yep, they apparently didn't want anything to do with it. Then enters Angel Studios, the knight in shining armor, who decided to give this film a shot. There was even a TikTok user rallying the troops, claiming Netflix and Amazon were giving the cold shoulder to Sound of Freedom and calling on viewers to give him the boot if they kept it up. Now, about Netflix and Amazon giving the film the cold shoulder, well, the tea on exactly why they gave it the pass hasn't been spilled. But Eduardo Verastegui, the producer, didn't keep his mouth shut. He spilled the beans that a few years back, he knocked on just about every studio's door, including Netflix and Amazon's. The response? Rejection. They didn't want any of it. So, Verastegui joined forces with Angel Studios, a fresh-faced production company straight out of Utah, and that's where Sound of Freedom found its home. And remember that guy Caviezel who's in the film? Well, he was linked to the Canon scene before, making appearances at conventions in 2021, and even dropping the whole storm thing connected to Trump. But hey, don't let that fool you. The movie doesn't really dive into those angles. And then came the director, Alejandro Monteverde, setting the record straight. He kicked off this whole project back in 2015, way before Canon was even a whisper. He saw a news segment on child trafficking and felt a fire light up within him to make a film that exposed the issue. He started with a fictional script, but then Ballard's real-life experiences took the wheel, shifting the plot to focus on his undercover missions busting traffickers. And Verastegui wasn't just twiddling his thumbs. He rallied investors who pitched in a whopping $14.5 million to get this film rolling. According to him, hearing Ballard's story pushed him to turn it into a full-blown movie. Now, let's not forget Angel Studios, the creative minds behind Sound of Freedom. These guys are all about crowdfunding films and series that spread positivity. They even managed to pull in $5 million from around 7,000 investors to make this whole project a reality. But here's where things get interesting. Angel Studios took a unique route to drum up support for the film. They added a heartfelt clip at the tail end of the trailer, where Caviezel himself reached out to the audience, urging them to grab tickets and back the cause. And hold on to your seats, because he showed up again after the movie, asking folks to jump on board with their Pay It Forward initiative. The deal? Buy an extra ticket for someone who might not get a chance to see the film otherwise. These are heinous crimes that are happening in real time. Mel Gibson, Jim Caviezel, and Ashton Kutcher have accomplished plenty in the fight against these crimes. Each of them has a specific path towards the same goal, but they are all essentially doing the same thing. You might know that Caviezel and Gibson starred together in Passion of the Christ, but their connection goes beyond the screen. They've teamed up behind closed doors, not just for that movie, but also to tackle other sensitive problems that often get swept under the rug. Mel Gibson, quite famously, has had his share of public missteps. Remember that leaked tape where he was caught in a heated conversation with his ex-wife? It painted him in a pretty unfavorable light as someone controlling and aggressive. Then there was that incident with the police, where he made some offensive comments while intoxicated. All of this aired in the media, yet Gibson still remains active in Hollywood. Jim Caviezel's journey is different. He's managed to maintain his friendship with Gibson while keeping a low profile in his fight against human trafficking. There was even a misleading rumor that Mel Gibson was working on a documentary on this issue, but the truth is, he actually supported Jim Caviezel in releasing The Sound of Freedom.
Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Talking about supporting causes, let's shift focus to Ashton Kutcher. This That 70s Show actor has been teaming up with law enforcement across different countries to take down sex trafficking rings in Europe and the United States. He's even taken his efforts to Congress, addressing his work and openly threatening to expose some powerful individuals involved in child exploitation.
It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness of another.
But here's the twist. Despite their noble endeavors, these folks aren't getting pats on the back from all corners. Legacy media, instead of promoting the cause, has opted to criticize it. It's a rough road for all three. It's almost expected, considering even the infamous Epstein case. He had a whole bunch of influential pals who shielded and enabled his disturbing behavior. Back in 2019, federal charges exposed Epstein's trafficking ring, where he abused underage girls between 2002 and 2005. He even paid victims to recruit others into his twisted web. Epstein faced charges of sex trafficking minors and conspiracy. He pleaded not guilty, but the indictment reveals his twisted network of employees and associates who enabled his actions. The indictment points out 3 employees, referred to as Employee 1, Employee 2, and Employee 3, without naming them, who were involved in arranging victims' encounters with Epstein. In the middle of all this mess, Ghislaine Maxwell's name pops up. She's accused of assisting Epstein in his abusive acts. The allegations stem from Virginia Roberts Giuffre's 2015 defamation case, where she claimed to be Epstein's sex slave, with Maxwell's involvement. Speaking of Epstein's associates, there are some big names in the mix. Presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton were connected to Epstein. Trump once spoke favorably of him, but later claimed to have kicked him out of his Mar-a-Lago club. Clinton, on the other hand, even took trips on Epstein's plane and visited his residences. And this issue of child trafficking goes much, much deeper than what Sound of Freedom was able to capture. Let's rewind to September 2020, when a major storm of controversy hit a Netflix movie named Cuties. This flick sparked an international uproar. People were raising some serious questions. Was Cuties really shining a light on child exploitation? Or was it perhaps crossing the line and exploiting its own young 11-year-old actors? Now, here's a topic that's often swept under the rug: child exploitation and trafficking. Think of it as Hollywood's big ol' elephant in the room. It's been lingering in the shadows, fueling rumors and whispers for quite a while. Remember Isaac Cappy, the actor who had a gig in the superhero blockbuster Thor? Well, back in August 2018, He went on a fiery online rant, dropping some heavy allegations like a bomb. He was like, "A lot of showbiz parents will knowingly give their kids to be abused because they'll be like, oh, we'll get your kids roles and money." And they take the money and then they just sell their kids. People sell their kids. They sell their kids for money. It's very up if I'm lying. Sue me. Because these are pretty damning allegations that I'm making. These are pretty damning allegations. So if I'm lying, sue me. Flash forward 9 months, and the scene is a somber one. Cappy's not around anymore. He tragically took his own life by leaping off a bridge in Arizona onto a busy highway. It's a heavy story, no doubt about it. Let's get real about this. Beyond all the conspiracy chatter, there's actual proof pointing to a horrifying reality of child exploitation in the entertainment world. So, it's not exactly shocking that Ice Cube was beyond ticked off when Netflix gave Cuties the cold shoulder. It really makes you scratch your head and wonder, how far will these giant corporations go to shield the powerful elite? That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.